to our new moon update. So grateful to have you here. I'm Kat, and I'm joined with my partner in crime, Kate. Together we make up Nourished Nomad, and it's time again for a new moon update.
So exciting, and so exciting to to be on YouTube now. That's the exciting way of, now we're not only just talking new moons in our lives, but bringing it to the public.
Yeah, and new moons and full moons, you'll be able to find us here.
Yeah, and in our community, which really, I guess we'll just share more about that ongoing, but right now you can join the community joining our social media feeds, Instagram, our Podia, email, and that kind of thing. So all those links and stuff are down below in case we forget to say that.
Excellent. And a great way that we keep in touch with our community is doing a free newsletter for every moon-based holidays, or our Celtic wheel holidays. So the one that's coming up next is on February 1st. It's Imbolc. It is kind of known as first spring, and is just the very beginnings of welcoming back the sun and seeing what seeds are beginning to sprout in our lives that we planted throughout the winter. So it would be a great idea to sign up for our newsletter. Inside, we always include some wisdom from a crystal, an energy update. We've got seasonal traditions and how you can celebrate the holiday, different healing rituals that you can do on your own, and a really yummy recipe and a little bit of information around what foods are in season.
Yeah, so it's really kind of like...
And it also includes a supplement update and some updates on programs and services that we're offering.
Yeah, it's pretty much like a whole collection of what's going on with us and also what's going on outside of us and in the seasons outside of ourselves. And I think it's really cool that there's so many different teachings that we can bring together. So I know the people who have downloaded the newsletters have felt more guided, just seeing how it shifts, right? Because it's a similar template, but then you just see how the seasons change with all the different elements. So I'm loving that.
Yeah, and when we recognize that the changes out in the world often are happening inside of us at the same time, it really becomes a really beautiful way to sync your life and your energy.
Absolutely. Cannot agree more. Speaking about syncing your energy, I feel like that's a good segue into the next one, which is self-indulgence, which is our next exciting program. But not only is this a program, because the Nomadic Nerves program, right, that we let out before was video-based and guided, and also text, recipe and image-based. But this one is also, there's this live component where we're actually doing it as an experience. So I'm really excited for this. It's called self-indulgence. Self-indulgence.
It's a good name.
Oh, I mean, it's a little biased, but it is a good name. So what's included in this? Basically, what we wanted to do was, say, what do people need at this time? And I think what people need at this time in February is some time for themselves and to feel luscious, taken care of, and rich in some way, in some fashion. And so self-indulgence was born. And, Kat, I think you agree with me that we all need more self-care. And so it's sort of a guided that.
And permission to take the time for self-care.
That's the thing, right? Is we were like, okay, how can people actually, if you bought this and said, I have access to all these different healing tools and resources, and they're setting aside time to be live and say, this is what you want to focus on, will you do that for yourself? And we know not everyone can do it on the exact dates, because that is the hardest part of anything in this modern world, is scheduling everyone all together at the right times. So what's nice is we are going to obviously offer the recordings after the fact. So if you end up being able to come to the 20th, but not the 21st, then, perhaps you could catch the rest after. So what will it include? I'll just go through a list. There's healing tools and exercises from a bunch of different modalities that Kat and I incorporate into our healing works separately. And so that's aromatherapy, some self-massage, some guidance on compassionate touch with yourself as well. journaling and or writing. There's nature connection. We're going to give you time to get out in nature, which is very exciting because, you know, sometimes it's a lot easier when someone tells you it's time, you've got to go do that. And then creativity, time for that, yoga, philosophy, and mindset awareness. And included in this also is like 2 full day menus with Nourished Nomad style recipes. So Kat has been dreaming up a bunch, and I mean, we both work on it, but obviously Kat is the one breaking down the nutrients and making sure that it is really hitting all those check marks that we like our recipes to hit. And we try to make them flexible, right? Like these full day menus, it's not like someone has to do them, but there's some suggestions. So even if they stretch that out for the week, they meal prep some of these just for the week, right? That'll probably be possible.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. And so they get 2 full day menus, these healing tools and exercises that are like actually a retreat, 2 full days of retreat tools and support. And then you get access to it after the fact, guidance from us, because we're going to pop in live. We're going to open and close the days in ceremony, which is awesome. And then on the Sunday, so it's a Sunday Monday event, so because of Family Day in Canada, so we get that kind of gap day to use. And so there's a Sunday event, which is going to be our 222 event, which we'll release more on later. But this 222 event is also included in that self-indulgence, so they get free access to that. Yep. It's just like so powerful. I'm actually just really excited. It feels like a whirlwind getting to create so many actually useful products. I'm just really excited to see what people experience in taking this. I wish that this was available to me before, you know, me creating it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, you know, for me, my tendency when I'm not taking care of myself and I'm feeling overwhelmed and burnt out is to crawl in my cave and stay there. And definitely I'm not doing good quality self-care when I'm in that cave. Like I'm not eating 100%. Well, I'm binging on Netflix. And so this is really like a gentle push maybe to, you know, come out of the cave a little bit, join in with like some really like-minded, great community, and really permission to take care of yourself.
100%. And the people that we collect here are wicked awesome. And so it's also like inspiring because you'll see other people actively taking care of themselves, because that's who's attracted to what we're talking about here, right? Is people who are just saying, I care about growth and I care about living a good life. And so we both agree that in order to live a good life, you do need to be able to indulge your senses and actually enjoy. So actually all of our tools are based off different senses as well, which we didn't really mention, but it is a part of things, and thought also being one of those senses, because we bring in wisdom and philosophy. So sort of the 5, 6, you know, maybe 7 senses, however many we want to, maybe the supernatural sense is also included in there somewhere.
Definitely.
Yeah, as with everything. But yeah, it's sort of this actual designed opportunity for you to take time to curate a loving relationship with yourself, or like fall in love with yourself. And yeah, definitely we know that disconnection and isolation is something that's causing so much stress. So an antidote to that stress that is definitely affecting your body and definitely affecting your mind is to take care of yourself. So here is however many invitations we've got, which is actually a ton of content in here, that even if you were to only do half of what is here, you would still be taking such rich and good care of yourself. And then you always have those tools, right? So I'm just so excited about this program.
And the other nice thing about it is it really does set you up to be able to keep repeating this. So it's not like a one and done thing. You know, I would encourage folks to schedule it into their calendar on a repeat basis. And, you know, like we have to have continual dates with ourselves for sure.
Absolutely. And there's bonus content. So if, you know, full days, it's like, hey, I'm already used to taking care of myself for a full day. Like we got more for you. So I like that. And I will say one other thing that I think is wise about the way this one is set up is that it's not like you need to be active with the group the whole day, because that can be really overwhelming, and we want you to be taken care of. And so some of these things are going to be invitations to go part and do your own thing, but you'll have our support, our guidance, and we'll be connect withable throughout the day. But there are definitely like introverts in mind with our scheduling, right? Because like both of us kind of do the cave thing when needed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so
the
that's
introvert
self-indulgence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
like, can we just take a moment and recognize how much we love doing webinars?
So much. So much more than I anticipated.
Me too. I just have loved getting to see the faces of our fabulous supporters and really be able to create content that is both scientifically strong and spiritually strong and connecting those two worlds. For any of you who have kind of just joined us on our journey, we've already done 2 and have our 3rd coming up. So our first was on the vagus nerve, then we dived into the power of the heart, and we've got our boundaries one coming up next, and so many more slated to come out throughout the whole world. So you can purchase our past ones. They're on our Podia site, nourishednomadco.podia.com. We'll put the link below. And then the way it works is if you sign up for them when we're live, you get access to them for free, and anything in the past is easily downloadable, so you can catch up on what you've missed.
Yeah. Love this. Love just having so much content getting out there in the world, because you and I, when we get together, it's like same brain and double the power. And I don't know, I just wanted to take a moment to celebrate the fact that those webinars are coming out. We set a goal of getting 3 webinars done in 6 weeks time, and we are crushing that goal. It's happening. And then now people can enjoy that it's out there in the world and people can enjoy them. And we're not really stopping either. There's actually more after this. And so the boundaries webinar coming up, that's like, you have the opportunity to join for that as well. But as soon as you join the email list, then you'll know what else is coming up. And I love doing free content. That fills me with so much joy that right now we are still in a place where we can do some free content that is really, really rich. That is probably not always going to be possible, you know?
I totally agree. My son always tells me that he thinks I should have been a teacher when I grew up. And I it's kind of what I get to do, which I really love to, do the research, curate it, bring it all together and present it to folks who I know are equally hungry and nerdy for the combination of science and spirit.
And in a totally humble way, I just really appreciate that all the time I've spent staring at a wall, thinking about concepts melding together, I get to explore that in a playful way with you in a nerdy sense, and that people are appreciative of the way our brains extrapolate, because our brains don't always fit into the world. To be quite frank, getting to do webinars was like, how am I going to do things? I don't do things normal. Maybe I'm not going to like it. And so just so exciting to be Nourished Nomad vibing on these webinars.
100%.
Yeah. And part of this like teaching and guiding has been a part of both of our roles for a long time in other endeavors. And so now getting to do it fully for the community that really, really resonates with what we're caring about is so exciting. So I know that we've both been really excited to open up ourselves to services, but it also took us a while to open up to services. We wanted to make sure we knew what people needed. So an energy check-in is what, people who are just wanting to dip into understanding more about their energy or get a bit of a read on what their, kind of a scan on what your energy bodies or system looks like. And some explanations on that is bookable with me. And then we have supplement check-ins bookable with you, which really helps because also people have been coming to get supplements from us. So yeah. Do you want to, you can talk about that too, because you're heavy on it.
So what I find most often with people with supplements is they tend to collect them. They don't really always know why they're taking what they're taking. They sometimes have the best ones stored in a drawer somewhere and they aren't taking those ones. They're taking what, Aunt Sally suggested that they take. So the supplement check-in is just the time to get really, really clear on what fits your needs and your health goals. And the nice thing about us is we have an online dispensary and access to like professional grade product that gets mailed right to your door. So you don't have to like worry about making recommendations and then having to hunt them down. Actually, I send you what we've talked about in that one-on-one session, and then it gets sent right to you, and you order it from there. And for those folks who aren't doing a supplement check-in, you can still order from us. So if you know that you're going to take vitamin D all winter, a great way to support our work and a small business is to shift over to buying your supplements from us.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't feel painful to suggest this because it's just such a good idea. I was telling Kat about this. I really don't like actually selling. If I can avoid it, I just like sharing. And this feels like a share because it's such a fast delivery and easy system. And the way of the future, in my opinion, in this recession zone that we're obviously in, this crushing kind of depression-y vibe, we're obviously going to be in that recession kind of zone here and there. And as we all recover from, the times of now. And I think a large part of us coming back as a community is understanding the important role entrepreneurs play. The amount of people who have gone into entrepreneurship in this time is very overwhelming. And so the leaders who you want to support through that time are the ones that, we're all starting to align with, these smaller businesses, and trying to get them the support they need. And I don't know, this is like a whole other tangent. This isn't really particularly about our business, but I do think it's an important conversation to have, and why I don't feel uncomfortable saying this is such a good call for people, because you get that one-on-one contact and support. But the nice also thing is, like, what we're offering is really high quality. We've already done our research. So as with our webinars, we just like are digesting stuff to make it easier so you can access it. And if stuff doesn't feel like it makes sense to you, we just want to like help that feel easier. Or, if you're looking for something, you're like, I've been looking everywhere for this kind of supplement that, combines these two things synergistically. We're on it. We got you. I like that feeling.
And with one of the supplement check-ins I did recently, actually, the person who I was working with was already going out to a health store to buy the exact same brands that I was able to recommend to get delivered right to their door. So chances are you may not even need to change the brands that you're taking.
Yeah, because it's not necessarily saying that what you're doing is wrong either, right? But sometimes it's nice to just get like that, book the check-in with Kat, get your high five and say, okay, this is what's, working for you. And not, and have it not be costly, and no pressure. I'll always, when I help people with the supplements, is I'll send out recommendations as well. I'll add in other products that I think they might like. And it's like, you don't have to get that. That's just me trying to share because it's like friendly. We have so many nice things there. So yeah, I love it. Love it. Okay. So, can we talk nomadic nerves? I feel like it's actually been a while since we talked nomadic nerves because we've been all up on these webinars. Mm-hmm. Nomadic nerves kind of like snuck in there, but we released in early January?
Late December.
Okay, so it has been time. So January's clearly been busy, eh? This new moon agenda, I feel like we're catching everyone up on what happened in December, January, and also moving forward. But the Nomadic Nerves program we built based on a lot of our research that we did in the vagus nerve webinar. That was our first webinar. So we felt like it was really important that people understand this epic nerve in our body and how it can actually turn off our stress responses, so we can actually have a much more relaxed life. And so a lot of people are now talking about the vagus nerve, I've noticed in social media circles. So I just thought it's a good thing to bring up. People get stressed out in the winter. They have a hard time feeling positive. And some of the tools that we are using from the nomadic nerves, just in between Kat and I, we know that it's creating such a large difference, potent difference on how we react to things. And all of our stress is just in how we react to things. So learning about your nervous system, super, super key. We include the vagus nerve webinar. So if you're thinking of going and getting the downloadable for the vagus nerve webinar, go get Nomadic Nerves, because just for that bit more, you're going to get so many tools. This is our first program we've developed, and we're going to keep adding to it as well. So we'll keep talking about it, but that, I mean, links below for everything.
Yeah. I think, you know, it's really important, I think, just to recognize that when most traditional work on stress is so focused on your cortisol levels and just bringing them back under control, and not very many people talk about activating the vagus nerve. So it feels like we're trying to get our stress better by pushing a system that's already stressed to the max. Whereas our approach is to really engage a system that's being underutilized.
And strengthen your body's natural response to stress. Because clearly our responses aren't great if we're a stressed out society, right? So like something's got to give at some point. We've got to take action rather than just expecting that we're going to relax because stuff is going to stop happening to us. That's just really, really like not logical thinking. So for a totally pragmatic reason as to why to deal with your nervous system, you have to take action towards it. So well, everybody's got stuff these days, right? With their nerves.
Sure. I mean, you and I too, right? Like this is a constant, like part of our work here is walking the talk. So
we built it from knowing, right? It came from a place of knowing.
Yeah. And you know, anything that we put in a toolkit or guide or anything, we definitely have as part of our, one of us has it for our self-care.
That's what I was going to say is I actually love doing this too, because you get two perspectives and two very wide reaching perspectives, but in our own kind of ways. So sometimes you put something in there and I go, wow, that really, really unlocked something for me. So I'm so thankful that there is, double the mind power on these.
Well, shall we dive into the meat of this beautiful new moon report?
Yes. Welcome to the new moon. Now you're all caught up. And what's currently happening? What is the current energy?
So the way we're going to run these new moon updates moving forward, a little bit of update on what we're up to nomadic nerve wise, nourished nomad wise. And then we're going to share a little bit about the energy of what we're stepping into right now. So the way I like to do it is I like to look at my ancestral line, which is the Celtic belief system and way of living. I also like to honor the belief system of the land I'm living on, the Indigenous peoples, and how they honor the current new moon. And then just a quick look at the astrology. I'm not an astrologer, but do use it a lot. So that's kind of what I'll do. And then Kate will use her magic and to tap into the energy that's coming up.
Yeah, generally like shamanic animal or symbol things and collective energy and more conceptual kind of things. And then we sort of talk feelings a little bit. We can go back and forth once we start sharing here. So I'm curious to hear what you've collected for this new moon.
Yeah, so this, in the Celtic tradition, this moon is attached to the rowan tree. And it's also associated with the goddess Bridget. She's the goddess of the hearth and of creativity. And also her celebration, obviously, is who we celebrate on Imbolc. So, you know, it makes sense that she would be the goddess of this new moon. And the rowan tree is actually associated with astral travel, personal power, and success. So themes around, you know, journeying out into the realms to connect with your higher self and guides to really step into your personal power and success. So that's the tradition coming from the Celts. And then the Indigenous moon we're stepping into is the bear moon. So it's a time to honor the vision quest that began in the fall and to see beyond reality and communicate through energy. So I love how they overlap with one another.
Yeah, I was just thinking that like honoring the vision quest and then astral travel and then success and seeing beyond reality to me all makes a lot of sense, right? That's really cool.
I think, you know, living in Canada with Irish heritage, it is really beautiful to see how much the Celtic way of life and the Indigenous way of life they really do have so many beautiful connections. So
they were really beautiful ancient belief systems built from nature, right? So when we root down to these similarities, it's nice that they yeah, it's nice that they kind of they correlate in such a way that probably, well, you'll tell us if astrology also relates with this, but
Yes. Well, yeah, and now we'll dive into the astrology piece. So we
Mhm.
are celebrating the new moon in Aquarius. It has everything to do with awakening, setting new intentions. It's very visionary and future oriented with a focus on freedom. And then really paying attention to what changed in you last year. So where do you have a deeper understanding of who you are? What's your unique energy pattern? What are what are you bringing to the table in this creation time of New Earth? It's a really great time to get inspiration and guidance from your higher self. And then ask yourself these questions at this new moon. So, what needs more work from you? What needs to slow down? Where do you need a deeper understanding? What needs clarity? And what needs to be grounded into reality? So, again, really pairs with both the Celtic and Indigenous new moons that we're in. So, they all line up really beautifully for me.
I love that. And I love like seeing beyond reality and then grounding into reality, because it actually makes a lot of sense for what I was feeling too. Because one of these concepts I was feeling was really bringing work in and seeing goals achieve or seeing dreams come true. There is like this kind of energy right now of that, of just waking up to that. And so, okay, so animal wise, right? I kind of claimed that fox and owl are sort of some of our 2022 overarching energies that sort of are stepping into or protecting us as a collective. But our bear energy, I've felt really, really present since January 2021. And so when I look at that and how it totally relates here, it feels like, okay, we're repeating this cycle, right? You were saying about this time last year. That actually totally makes sense. That's when I felt that sort of shift collective wise, that this was an important, and bear being like maternal protection as well, sort of nurturance in an orderly sense. And then also this idea of the cave and the hibernation, right? And sort of being more connected to that. The owl feels very connected to that travel and wisdom, the future focus, maybe that clarity that comes in this current energy. And also the fox is an overall energy of playful curiosity, I think, being needed to get us over any types of challenges that are facing. I do feel 2022 is going to bring a lot of challenges. I'm okay with it. I know it can feel tiring after we've just had like a lot of things going on. But I do think, that fox and owl protection, we have this playful curiosity and we lean into that rooted wisdom. Really, we should be able to get through a lot of those hurdles with a bit more ease. And so just collective energy wise, I've totally been feeling that a lot of folks are having this career focus that feels a lot more easygoing. But as I said to Kat before this call, it's like a disciplined softening, right? So it's sort of this like you're easing up while digging in and doing the work. And that feels like a lot of people are doing that with their careers. And it's really nice to see, actually, because when we all devote ourselves to the work we're passionate in, or at least getting towards the work we're passionate in, we have that sense of security in ourselves. And that's really, really grounding. So whenever you're feeling like astray, but you have not given your career enough time, don't disclude it from being part of your self-care. Sometimes leaning into your actual mission work or the work that you are doing, because that is your conscious choice right now, is really powerful. So that's kind of what it feels like, right?
And that really is the where's your role in the recreation of reality right now? Like what is your role in New Earth? And is it your current career? Is it something different? But definitely taking that time to think about service.
Yes, and service is a way to do that discipline but soft, right? Because
Yes.
being like, okay, what is my mission? What is needed? I don't know. When it goes to that, I don't know, then we'll focus on what you do know,
Yeah.
right? Bring it down to disciplined softness. What can you bring? Like that really, I think that's the right approach here with the career right now.
Yeah.
And some of the other concepts I think that have presented themselves to me are focusing on intelligence, focusing on that, like taking solitude, maybe developing or researching this sort of, it feels like a mental intellect kind of focused time, in a sense that's like a strong energy right now. But also this, it's funny, one of the cards was that I pulled was elegance and patience. And when I think about that with enthusiasm, I'm thinking really feel into it taking time and that being a-okay, because you know that when you put in this work it shows. And a lot of people I've been talking to in a variety of things, but I know we definitely feel this, that when you simply apply yourself with inspired actions and with your heart into things, then you'll have that, your dreams become reality, truly. Actually, that's kind of what we're getting at. So right now it is the work part of that, and that is a necessary, it's like your journey doesn't happen for you, you step along it. And so this is the taking action step. So that's kind of what I was feeling into as well. And I've also been feeling like this is a time for setting relationships up as like foundational for moving forward and success. I feel like there's a lot of repeating. Like how many things did we repeat in the last couple months? Oh my gosh, all the toxic things show up just to be like, hey, remember this? Hey, how do you feel about this now? I know you've grown and stuff, but what about now? Yeah, but really, have you? And so I feel like this, like it's setting all of our relationships up and connections and friendships for like what you said. What am I here to do? And what I add, who's coming with me on
Absolutely.
that? Yeah. And so some of the physical ways that shows up, we also talked about, which is sleep concerns, people having insomnia, getting lots of third eye interruptions, lots of also like a strange crown, almost like, like hairline, or like if you were to have a balding pattern, right? It's like that stretch, that strip, headaches up there, because really this is all leaning towards, if you're struggling in this energy, if you're not leaning into this energy, it's because you don't trust that things are coming, right? Because of that's the only thing that would be, the shakiness would be coming up, because we were talking, there's a lot of energy coming in. So you either have the response of shutting down and taking care of yourself, or heightening to match it. And sometimes that works, and sometimes you end up feeling a little disconnected. And so that disconnection feeling like really wired, but like not having the crash, but maybe not loving that either. Upper crown headaches. And then for me, I was getting lots of ringing in the ears. So these are all kind of maybe things. Yeah, you as well. Okay. So things to be aware of right now, energetically and physically, is physical energy. And I think I just wanted, I guess, to mention that I feel like we're coming out of this place of peace or rest in a sense, and also like a lot of changing directions. And so if there's anything that is a good focus right now, it's focusing on strong bonds. And I think that's a really beautiful way to wrap up. Yeah, this energy of this new moon in Aquarius, eh?
Yep. So it happens on February 1st around midnight, if you're in Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, do the conversions if you're elsewhere. That's this one. We'll be back.
Exciting.
But the other thing that I know we wanted to do in these updates is, because new moons are really good for setting intentions, we were going to share just 3 things that we are kind of intending to bring more into focus into our lives, journeying into this lunar cycle.
It's basically like, what's new with us, like with Nourished Nomad stuff, and then it's like, what is this new moon about, and then what are we gonna do now, what is our intention? So love that.
So I'll jump in. Cool.
Go ahead.
So at the end of last year, I inherited all of my grandparents and parents' stuff. My parents' house sold, so I did have an influx of new stuff. For those of you who know me, or as you get to know me, I'm not really a stuff kind of gal. So I've been pretty overwhelmed with clutter in my place. So I've committed to working with a personal organizer to really streamline, declutter, and only keep what really matters and is useful to me. So that work is my focus for this lunar cycle. It's already going really well. I'm very happy.
Yeah, so exciting.
And then I also am looking for ways to move a little bit more with the extreme cold here. My walks have not been quite as regular or as long. So
Yeah.
I got myself a rebounder. So I have been slowly increasing my time on that with a really great playlist from all my like university day tunes. So that is going to be my focus to really turn up the crank on that. So I've got some good movement on top of my regular workouts. And then last month I was focusing on bringing minerals into my world. So I took out my Shilajit, and you've heard me talk about how much I love it. I've missed it. I've missed my evening ritual of making my cup of Shilajit, so I'm looking forward to bringing that back next month as kind of my way to calm down and get my minerals in the evening.
It's been weird without it. Like, I know that we have the minerals, so like I was doing the same thing as Kat here, and I totally miss the Shilajit too. So I love that. I'm so excited that you're rebounding, because I just think it's fun to think of you just being like happy jumping along to your music. Yeah, really exciting. And so where am I at? I am pet sitting right now, north of Kingston area in a nice little area of the Rideau Lakes. And it's quite cold here as well. And going to be done this pet sitting gig before the next new moon, right? So I'm done this pet sitting gig and moving to, well, not moving to, staying in a cottage chalet kind of space in Quebec. So excited to cross a province border. Haven't done a little trip that's longer for a while. And then I'm pretty much just going to hole up there with, friendship, community, and a hot tub. And my big focus actually while I'm there is our work, and then some really simple things that I know make me feel 10 times better. So 4 liters of water a day is my goal while I'm there. I just really want to make sure I'm fully hydrated. You just don't feel the same if you miss that. And it's important. It's such a key thing. And then, it fluctuates. The winter, I find it harder to get all the water that I need. And then the other piece is my skin dries out so much in the winter that I want to get back to my shea butter and aromatherapy regular routine, because it's like devotional, positive self-touch. It feels nice on the skin. My skin is then hydrated, and then I get aromatherapy application. So it's like one of those. It crosses. I always say I like to condense all of my self-care, so it's like super powered. This is like a superpower routine, I think. So I'm really excited. I think it'll be simple and just what I need.
So yummy. Yeah, really
so yummy.
And I love the thought of you just, I don't know, eating really good quality cheese in Quebec and
yeah, you're pushing the cheese. We were talking before this call. And I was like thinking that I wasn't going to have cheeses in February and March, and then being like, well, maybe only goat cheese. And she was like, you're going to Cheeseland. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, so that's awesome.
We'd love to hear from you what your intentions are for this new moon. Add them to the comments. And you will see us again for the full moon, but I'll let Kate.
Yes. I was also just going to say, I personally would love to know what other people are picking up. Like if you were vibing with the same things in that new moon energy. I just always love to know, are we on track? Are you guys having the same feelings we're having? The whole reason of tuning into collective energy is to share it, right? So let us know if you're already at this point in the video. You obviously dig us and want to talk. So just like it helps us get this out there.
So really have a beautiful new moon. New moons are all about darkness and going within and setting intentions. So if you need a little bit of a time out and have an evening or two where you just turn off the TV, sit with your journal, light a candle, really encourage you. That's what the energy is calling us to do. So we're all about honoring that. So yes, blessed new moon, and we will be in touch with you for the full moon.
Absolutely. Bye, nomads.
Bye.